The No State Project. This is a show dealing with a stateless world. What a concept. We're going to be talking about issues of liberty, freedom, and we're actually going to define what freedom is on this show. Unlike a lot of shows, we're actually going to say what freedom is and how government, by its very nature, is inconsistent with freedom. That freedom is the 100% control over your life and property, and 100% of the time, and 0% control over other people's life and property. But what is government? Government is a group of men and women who want to control your life and property. Because government is just a group of men and women providing a service at the barrel of a gun. And a service that they don't have to provide. They claim that they're there to protect you. They'll even claim failure to protect you. But the real truth is, there's no duty to protect you, me, or anyone else, because we know instinctively that if your car is stolen, can you sue the state? Well, yeah, you can. But you'll have a motion to dismiss filed against you that they'll say that it is failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted because lawyers know but won't necessarily tell you. Can't imagine why, but they won't tell you that there is no duty to protect you, me, or anyone else. And that is where the whole thing of states and nations falls apart. Because if there is no duty to protect you, what are they doing? It just reduces them to just a gang of killers, thieves, and liars, which is exactly what they are. Because without a duty to protect you, guess what? You are not a citizen, even if you believe you are. Because to be a citizen, there has to be a duty of protection and a duty of allegiance, which is really the only thing that separates you and me from these alleged illegal aliens. And it doesn't exist. That relationship does not exist. Sorry, but it doesn't. Doesn't matter if it's capital C, doesn't matter if it's lowercase c, doesn't matter if 14th Amendment, any of that. They may claim that, but there are no facts. Keep in mind that when we're talking about legal land, we're talking about maps that don't have territories. That's right. Everything that these people say, whether they're senators, governors, or ambassadors, or so-called legislators, these are people that are dealing with maps of the world that have no territory. But they get us to believe that by marching us into their schools from the time we're 5. So they have us construct these maps, or they force these maps on us, so that we actually believe that there are citizens and residents, that there are states and countries and things like this. And what this does, this blinds us from what's really going on, that we're being controlled against our will, without our consent. And that's all politics does. The whole aim of politics is to blind us from the truth, to divert our attention. It's all a diversion tactic. If you watch or listen to any politician, that's all they're doing. They're diverting the attention from themselves. Get that away from me. Don't look at what I'm doing. So it's just like in The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind that curtain. Because if you did pay attention to the man behind that curtain, you would see these people for exactly what they are. And that is a gang of killers, thieves, and liars. Every single thing a government agent or politician says, he is a lie. Everything they have is stolen. Because they'll even tell you that taxation is a forced burden, a forced contribution. Or I remember someone emailed me that Bill Clinton said that he actually had the audacity to say, with a straight face, mind you, that taxation was a charitable contribution. A charitable contribution. Imagine that. Well, we feel sorry for these people? Anyway, I'm Marc Stevens. This is the No State Project. This show is about bringing about a voluntary society in our lifetime because, as you know, we do not have a voluntary society now. What we have now is a sick, disgusting Stanford prison society type of structure. And what I mean by that is that in the Stanford prison experiment, you had people pretending to be prison guards and the other half pretending to be prisoners, and the experiment had to be stopped in 6 days because the prison guards, or the pretended prison guards, became sadistic. Within 6 days, they became sadistic, and that's because of the control over other men. And they were just pretending. Here we've got a society where millions of people are controlling billions. And they accomplish that control through a mind virus called politics, which is nothing more than a false religion to divert your attention from the fact that you are being controlled against your will. That if you saw what was really happening, if you saw the man behind the curtain, you would see that it was all smoke and mirrors, that it was nothing more than a public relations scheme. So, one of the questions that I always get about a voluntary society, that people think it's impossible, but every single point that they make or argument that they bring up against a voluntary society are the same arguments that you can use against the involuntary one we have now. One of the biggest things I hear is, Mark, we've got to have police protection. And the sad fact is, everyone, whether you accept it or not, you can't change the fact that the police are not there to protect you now. Okay? Like we mentioned before, you cannot maintain an action against the police department because you're raped, you're mugged, your house is burned down, or by arsonists, or your car is stolen. There is no legal enforceable duty to protect you. None. So, it's no argument against a voluntary society, guys, if we say that there's got to be police protection. There's no police protection now, so that's an argument against the involuntary society we have now. And in a voluntary society, you can very well pay for protection. And protection doesn't mean just cleaning up the mess after you've been raped and murdered, which is what the police do now. In fact, if you read enough cases, the courts will tell you, these bureaucrats, these politicians, they'll tell you it's impossible to protect you. Impossible. That they cannot protect you as an individual. They cannot protect you. Okay? And 9/11 is one that I use as an example. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand. I do not believe that 9/11 was a failure to protect. I think but 9/11 was definitely a government op. Absolutely, positively a government op. But the question remains, whether you believe it's a government op or not, the fact remains, it's indisputable, the people in those buildings were not protected. That's something that no matter where you are, no matter what your belief in, whether it was a controlled demolition or not, bottom line is those people were not protected. Now, the airlines are being held accountable. Oh, yeah, there's a federal case that's still ongoing. A federal judge, and you know when a lawyer puts on that black robe, what he says is the law. So, as a matter of federal law, he ruled, his name is Hillerstein, he ruled as a matter of federal law that 9/11 was foreseeable. Very important. It was foreseeable. He also ruled that the airlines had a reasonable duty to protect the people in the plane, the people in the buildings, and the people on the ground. And he ruled as a matter of federal law, they failed in that duty, and they're liable for the damage. Now, does anybody question why the federal government, the New York State government, and the city government, has anyone questioned why they're not being held accountable to the same legal standard? See, most lawyers are smart enough to know there's no way in the world you can do that because the federal, state, and local governments have no duty to protect anyone. And yeah, they come out and say, oh, we don't protect you as an individual, we could protect you as a whole. Oh, that's right. So there would be a duty to protect if the entire city of New York was wiped out. Well, we failed in our duty. Now you can hold us accountable. What a way to do business. Oh, we're not insuring just your car. We're insuring everybody's car. So unless everybody's car is stolen, you don't have a claim. Well, I have a word for people who do business like that. They're criminals. They are criminals. And that's exactly the way government does business, because government is nothing more than a gang of criminals. And it's very easy to demonstrate that. Because what is a criminal? I mean, seriously, what is a criminal? A real crime is what? It's the initiation of the use of physical force or the threat of the initiation of physical force against someone. That's all a crime is. All a crime is, really, is the involuntary or an involuntary relationship or situation between one or more men. Two or more men or women. That's all it is. So if you look at your criminal codes, which every state so-called has, every criminal syndicate called a state, they have criminal codes. And what do real crimes prohibit? Or actually what I should say is, what do real crime laws punish? They punish involuntary human relations, murder, manslaughter, rape, fraud. Yet, let's apply that same standard to how government operates. Now again, government is nothing more than a group of men and women providing a service at the barrel of a gun. We're going to protect you, and you're going to pay us, or we will shoot you. End of story. That's the way government operates. It's not up for dispute. Yeah, you could say, like a judge the other day said to me, oh, well, we won't shoot you, but we would issue a warrant. Well, we all know that a warrant authorizes what? The use of deadly force to bring you into that building. right? Well, isn't that the same as saying, you don't pay us, we'll shoot you? Maybe I don't want to go to court that day. Maybe I just don't want to get up. Maybe I've got better things to do. Maybe I'd rather just sit in my house and watch cartoons. Okay? That's supposed to be what freedom's about. So we can see that government by its very nature is incompatible. But what they do is they use these terms. They build these maps that everyone is forced to act as if is real, or that act as if these maps have territories. We're led to believe that we're citizens or residents of a nation, or of a city, or a state, when in fact these don't exist. These are mere abstractions. Now, I have no problem with people having abstractions. You can believe whatever whatever reality you want to have. The problem with these people is they pick up machine guns and want you to join that reality.